right, welcome back, my panelists, Damini, Debashish, Joyda. Uh, a game that we didn't quite expect, but it is what it is. Hyderabad has lost this one. This is truly, it was very, very important for them, truly a do or die. हारे नहीं है सिर्फ बुरी तरह हारे हैं तो you know negatively impact करेगा net run rate. What went wrong, Joyda? Let's start with you.
Yeah, I think as I was saying in the pre-show, that man to man, I feel KKR are a lot stronger side. I'm not saying this because they won. I would have said this even if they lost. One is on paper, one is what happens on grass. Okay, they're two different things. But any game you in the preview you always see the strength, whether it's cricket, football, hockey, tennis. You see the strengths and weaknesses, and you assess them. Then what they do, they go and do. So when Federer plays Nadal in clay, you assess it. When Federer plays Nadal in grass, you assess it. And then upsets might happen. That's what makes sport so beautiful. You never know. And my greatest example in 1983, West Indies were the favorites to win the World Cup. But we won. But nobody complained then, because we won. So I thought that today KKR were pretty good against a very okay side by IPL standards.
True.
If you see the bowling, it didn't have a lot, except Bhuvi, I think, was phenomenal. I think the way he's handled pressure, bowled up front, bowled at the back, it's not easy to be the lone person bowling well in a group who is getting cutted. And he bowled to Russell, he really held his own. So for me, from the Indian point of view, I think Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's comeback in this tournament has been very good for Indian cricket because, he has that ability to bowl under pressure. And IPL is a great tournament. We love it. But at the end of the day, what he does for India matters most to us. That is the ultimate. And we have some very important matches as Devashish keeps saying, 17, 18 matches and then the T20 World Cup. So, in this IPL, we're also thinking of that 6 months from now. And the selectors, the coach, the captain, they're having some plans in mind as he watches all the game. This guy could fit in. He's back. This guy not chipping well. So that's also going on the back of your mind. So I felt KK was really good with the bat initially, with the ball also. See, with the ball, they're always good. And now there's some stability. Varun back. Okay, he had a couple of off games. But when you retain somebody, when he's a mystery spinner, you cannot drop him from the 11 because that's the worst thing. It shatters your confidence. I've got dropped, I know. It really shatters your confidence. But, give him a longer rope. See, these are the same guys who were dropped who are winning you the games. It's not that we've got new players. It's not that Varun Chakravarti has learned something 3 days sitting out and he's come back a new bowler. Nothing like that. It's just the backing that he's getting. Arm around your shoulder for a cricketer is the best thing you can do as far as giving him confidence. And it's so good to see. I think this is the best team that played. Umesh was superb. Saudi was superb. Narayan had an off day, but his off day is, 434. So overall, I think it's for this KKR team, very comprehensive performance. Very happy to see them play like this.
Definitely. And I think when we talk about their batting, KKR did well today. We did see Ajinkya Rahane, Nitish Rana did whatever they could. Shreyas itna nahi kar paye, Venkatesh nahi kar paye. In fact, they were at a position where they were 94 for 5 in the 12th over, and wahan se the partnership that Sam Billings and Andre Russell.
Yeah, that's exactly when I got a special message from someone. Yeah.
Devashish, your thoughts?
Yeah, what an inspirational captain. Means you leave the final over to be bowled by a spinner when Andre Russell is at the crease, and those 22 runs did the confidence beating, and then you come into bat and struggle to score only 9 runs of 17 balls when you have an asking rate of almost 8.5. So I don't know what might be, and I keep saying this from day one that and Kane Williamson shouldn't open the batting, and Roydeep that always agrees with me. There's no two ways about it. In a T20 format, Kane Williamson, Ajinkya Rahane is a misfit. So at least Ajinkya Rahane tried. At least he improvised. He played some shots. He played that 6 even after he got hit. So
there was an intent. Doesn't eat up balls. Ajinkya Rahane doesn't eat up balls.
At least there was an intent. There was an intent, positive intent. But that was not the case. That was what was missing in Williamson. He was looked totally out of colors, and it was putting more pressure on Abhishek Sharma at the other end. So
Absolutely.
that is what happened. I think the captain should take the onus, take the blame, responsibility for such a show. We
Yeah.
had Sunrisers won tonight, they would have definitely stayed, kept their hopes alive. But now KKR perhaps got that. I'll still stick to it. It's not that KKR has won, and change my views. I still believe that it's. But they have done well in last two matches. Comprehensive wins in last two matches.
And Hyderabad just gave it away. In fact, they were at a position when KKR was 94 for 5 in the 12th over. They could have really restricted them to a lower total, but they
Yeah.
ended up conceding a lot of runs, and that's where the bowling went wrong. Damini.
I believe Sunrisers Hyderabad at that point of time, I would say they got a bit overconfident. They were like, yes, we have finally KKR in our grasp. And here I would definitely applaud the KKR batters who came to bat, Andre Russell and Sam Billings. They took it upon themselves that no matter what, we have to win this match, and we have to, since we are batting first, we have to put up a handsome total, and we have to give something to our bowlers to defend. We cannot pressurize our bowlers that the target is so less, so you have to work very hard. You always have to be under the pressure. No, Andrew Russell has time and again today, 28 deliveries, 49 runs, one short of his deserved half century. That's sad, but he has time and again shown that he can just go brutal with the bat if he goes crazy. He can just go berserk. And Sam Billings was beautifully supporting him, and I'm really happy with the fact that KKR are continuously in these couple of matches. Even today, they have shown a lot of character. Like I said in the pre-match show as well, just as I wanted them to do, they showed character. They showed that intent that yes, it's a do or die match for us. We have to win, and not only get those 2 points, we have to also improve our net run rate, because at this point of time, it is such that each and every team will not only keep in mind to get those 2 points, but to also have that urge to improve the net run rate. Net run rate plays, I think, a big spoil sport at times. Two teams have the same point, but just net run rate has one team qualifying, the other team missing out. So
Yes.
Kolkata Knight Riders, with this win, this thumping victory, have ensured their race into the playoffs. I don't know whether they will qualify or not, but they have shown that yes, they are still in the race and they are not to be written off. And I'm really very proud that I keep supporting KKR. I will keep supporting KKR always.
Well, yes, they've had the win, but let's just talk a little bit about the different the batsmen today. As I was saying, Venkatesh, your last game he had performed well, but today he got out cheaply. Joyda, I just want to come to you with this question. But in the start of the season, if you remember, we were discussing that he could become Hardik Pandya's replacement as an all rounder, good with the bat and the ball, to be on the Indian team. And we've seen Hardik Pandya being super with his form this season. But after Venkatesh's performance this IPL, his chances of being on the side look weak. Your views?
Yeah, I think Hardik Pandya is so special. I don't find any replacement for him in India. And I say this with utmost respect for everybody. The reason is that the way he bats, and along with that, he bowls at 135, 140 kilometers per hour. None of these bowlers who are there as replacements bowl at his pace. And pace is something you need at international level. Okay? So if you see somebody like a Harshal Patel, he also bowls a 135 ball. That's the reason why his 105 ball is so lethal. If you didn't have a 135 ball, that 105 ball wouldn't have been lethal. It's always the drop in pace, the difference in pace. So coming
True.
back to Venkatesh Iyer, he was successful at the top of the order. For India, he needs to bat at 6. It's completely different. People who don't play the game, don't understand the game, will say, you're just batting. How does it matter? The skill set, the need is completely different. So what he did was he went and played domestic cricket at number 6. He played Vijay Hazare for MP at number 6 because India made him play at number 6. So he had a great IPL. He walks into the Indian team, super, bats at 6. And he says, oh my gosh, this is a different syllabus altogether. So his success was at open. He's playing at 6. That's almost like saying Cristiano Ronaldo scored 34 goals. Manu takes him and puts him at left back. And you say, why is he not scoring goals? But he's a left back. It's a bit like that. So all I'm trying to say here is that for Venkatesh Iyer, he's got a bit of a roddy in the sense that wherever he had success, he did not bat there for India consistently
Hmm.
because he's been made to bat in a totally different place where the skill set maturity is totally different. We've had Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya. These are the guys who are masters of the finish. Yuvraj back in the day. These are the guys who did the job. Uh, these are the best players at the position. So Venkatesh Iyer will also take some time
Hmm.
to be really good at this level. Everybody needs a bit of time in their new role.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's the reason why it's difficult. If it was easy, there'd be 100 players who could play there.
Absolutely.
There are about 10 guys who can bat between 1, 2, 3, 4. But Surya, phenomenal at 5, 6. Or
Hmm.
Hardik, phenomenal. Rishabh, phenomenal. Jadeja, phenomenal. So that's 4 names I've told you, and who are
Hmm.
probably in my India team. If India was playing a T20 game tomorrow, these guys would be 4, 5, 6, 7 for me. So that is the reason why I thought Venkatesh missed out because he's still new to this version. He's only had half a good IPL. And as they
Hmm.
always say, your second season is a tough one. People sort you
Hmm.
out. People see your videos. They have plans for you. So always it's the second season that's often the most difficult one. If he comes to this one, which I'm sure he will, he'll again be sailing well.
Yeah. Let's see how things pan out for him. There have been some other good finds this season. We've seen Rinku Singh, uh, who's been good today. Jaldi out ho gaye. And of course, I think this IPL has also kind of brought about rules from the rule book and reminded people and told us about things that we probably would never otherwise discuss. कभी power failure की वजह से review नहीं होता, कभी अश्विन आ जाते हैं अपना rule निकाल के retired out का. And today Rinku Singh didn't show the signal for review, and Sam Billings did it on his behalf, and which wasn't considered, and unfortunately he couldn't get that review. Debashish.
रिंकू सिंह को ब्रेन फेड हो गया था क्योंकि उसको वो भूल गया था कि उसको टी दिखाना है टू 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 फॉर द रेफरल
For the referee, yeah.
बट देन इट हैपेंस क्योंकि हिट ऑफ उस मोमेंट पे यू अक्सर बट देन सैम बिलिंग्स का रोल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था उस टाइम पे
Yes.
बिकॉज ही कुड
And
हैव रिमाइंडेड
uh,
हिम
and he's a character. Rinku Singh is the life of the KKR team. I was with him in 2018. He is a character and a half. He's hilarious. He does things which nobody else will ever do. But he's a great, great kid. Averages 60 plus in first class cricket. You know, let's
Yeah,
first. So he's up there with the best in the country right now. There are
true,
many who average in the 50s. He's 60 plus average, which is
true.
phenomenal in first class cricket. But
Yeah.
Devashish, all yours.
या
Debashish, you
एंड
were saying about Sam Billings that he has been excellent with the bat
and
and
and and and the ridiculous thing is that thing was that they were arguing with the umpire after, because they should have known the rules of 15 you are supposed to get only 15 seconds to decide whether to go get a take a review or not.
exactly. So that's what it serves as a good reminder to everyone, the players on the field, that do it for
What
yourselves
a
and do it in
character!
good.
But what I would just like to add to Joydita, what a character means he has done the role of a sweeper, and then from there to play in the IPL, get picked for 80 lakhs, and then to help his help his family to stay by the side of his family. That's a great, inspiring story. Means
And he's got bitten by
seldom,
monkeys multiple number of times. He's
yeah,
got these
yeah, yeah.
monkey bites on his hand, on his shoulder. Great kid. Great story of BCCI Indian
Yeah, yeah,
cricket. It's a superb
absolutely.
story. I mean, this is what the success of the IPL and BCCI's Indian cricket is. It's not just the
Absolutely.
stars who are up there. Even like a Rinku Singh, how has his life changed? How has his life changed for people around him, his family, his friends? Superb, and a great, great
True.
kid.
Devashish, Sam Billings, let's talk a little bit about him. I think if he had gotten more chances this IPL, would have seen more performances from him, more consistency, like we saw today.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the problem has been with the KKR squad, because too many chopping and changes, not being able to sort out the perfect playing 11. And always experimenting with their foreigners who will be their four go-to players. So this has been a major concern throughout the season, and see what it takes now. In Sam Billings, he played such a wonderful knock tonight, and it was a good decision to get him picked ahead of Sheldon Jackson. With due respect to Sheldon Jackson, because Sam Billings was outstanding, and that partnership between Andre Russell towards the end, that paved the way for a decent total, because on this Pune wicket, had KKR scored around 150, I would have sure that the Sunrisers would felt a lot more confident. But that last over by Washington Sundar, where he went in for 22 odd runs, I think that dashed their confidence. And
Yeah.
then the openers, Sunrisers openers, Kane Williamson.
Well, coming to Kane Williamson, Damini, your views. We've seen again today his strike rate was poor. The kind of shot he played and he got out to on that ball by Russell, clearly showing that he's struggling with the form. So many times he's spoken about this, that he should probably go much down in the order and not go right on top. And but just overall, he's been struggling with the form and not able to do much about it.
Kane Williamson, as time and again is again a, has been said that he's a world class batsman, no doubt. But in this edition of the IPL, I believe that he somewhere is not being able to juggle both the pressures of being a good batsman and the captaincy of SRH. As we, if we, look into SRH's journey into this IPL, they started off with two defeats, then they came back with those three brilliant wins. Then again, some way they just lost their track. Uh, Multiple stories are coming up in this IPL. Many captains are coming up with revelations that they themselves are not being able to take up much of the decisions. They are having to be answerable to the management. Whatever be the story, we won't delve into that. But coming to Kane Williamson, I believe he somewhere is not being able to balance the pressure. That one point he has to be the captain for SRH, and one point he has to contribute with the bat as well. Even in his captaincy, I would say there were a lot of mistakes. Like literally, as a fan, I'm not a cricketer. I won't be able to delve into the technicalities. But even as a fan, I could, just as a viewer, I could say, no, this is not what you do. Kane Williamson. It's not expected from somebody like you, who's the captain of your national side, who has literally won so many matches and performed individually so well. And even his batting, many of the matches now he hasn't been able to contribute at all. Answers to that only he himself can explain. We won't be able to,
Joyda, would
probably
you
explain this, but I would just say that Kane Williamson is undoubtedly a brilliant player, and I guess it's a lean patch that he's going through, and he will come back stronger.
That's what I was coming to, Joyda. So is it maybe every top batsman comes across a phase like this? Is probably what Kane Williamson is also going through.
Yeah, that's true, but this is also his weakest version. He's a superb test player and he's a very, very good one-day player. But in T20, it's his weakest version. He's always survived at Hyderabad because there was David Warner and Johnny Bairstow, stroke Riddhiman Shah, who did the bulk of the job and he would chip in. But right now, he has to do the bulk of the scoring, for which he's put himself at number one position, which is not his ideal position. And I thought somebody like him, he comes across as a very amiable, uh, not much of ego, everything for the team sort of a guy. And I was hoping after 4 or 5 games, he would just come back and say, listen, I've got all my runs for Hyderabad at number 3. Yeah, David Warner's not there, neither is Johnny Bairstow. But we'll go with Rahul Tripathi and see where that takes us. But I've been most surprised that it's taken them so long till they're actually out of the IPL. And now it doesn't really matter whether he bats 1 or 11 because, they're kind of out of the IPL. So
Yeah.
you got to make those tough decisions, those very crucial decisions when the time comes. Once that time is gone, एक बार train station से निकल गया, जितना दौड़ोगे पकड़ नहीं पाओगे, दूरी जब
Correct.
चलता जाता है train. So that is what is, because he captains his country. New Zealand is not a star-studded side, but they're Asian Test champions. They're runners-up in the World Cup, so they really do well. And because their out cricket is very good, their planning is very good. Everything else around the cricket, without much talent, they compete with the best. If you look at New Zealand, you can't think about any superstar. No Ben Stokes, no Rohit Sharma, no Virat Kohli, but they're still always up there because the out cricket is so good. So, considering all this, I'm a little disappointed that they haven't taken this earlier. And yeah, form is something, it's not really a beck and call. When you have it, you just thank the Lord and you pray that it stays for longer. When you don't have it, You can dig a hole in the ground and bury your head, but it doesn't come back. So I feel for him as a cricketer, but I've just felt that he should have just a little bit more magnanimous in the sense that said, okay, like guys, it's not happening for me. Why don't you guys have a crack at it?
Correct, correct. But talking about Rahul Tripathi, he's been performing well this season. Only today, he didn't much, but cannot entirely blame him. That was an excellent cotton bowl by Tim Saudi. But Rahul Tripathi has been a good find this season. Devashish.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been he has done well so far in the season for Sunrisers, and wonder why KKR did not go for him at the auctions. But then, having said that, it was just a one-off failure for him in this match. But then Puran also did not click. Neither did Aiden Markram. It was so
Yes.
unfortunate because Aiden Markram was looking good. As long as he stayed in the middle because he was playing the short field. It was an unfortunate dismissal, dragging that Umesh Yadav ball delivery onto his stumps. So I think overall things did not go well as would have been expected of Sunrisers. And Abhishek also started off well, and then it was a wonderful the delivery from Varun. So I think overall, I would say I would if you would like to ask me to put it out, it was a comprehensive win by KKR and supported by some mistakes by on the part of Sunrisers Hyderabad players.
Well, when you say Aiden Markram, I think we know he's an explosive batsman. Today he did 32 of 25, but also that there is that pressure on him, right? When the top has not performed, then you even if you can do it, you cannot do it alone, right, Joyda?
Yeah, you're always playing catch up. If your start is not right when you're having a big total, if you have not utilized the power play, if somebody's got 9 or 14 or 15 balls, you've just started on the wrong foot. Instead, you
Correct.
don't mind being 3 overs, 35 for 1, because your wickets that you keep back and take back into the pavilion being not out doesn't fetch you any runs. So
Yeah.
any time when they chase big totals, a great story that comes to my mind when India chased 325 at Lords. Saurav Ganguly told his team that after 10, told Virendra Sehwag and the team, after 10 overs, we want to be 60. After 15, we want to be 110. Whether we can or not is different, but that's the target in mind because we're chasing 325, not 275, not
Hmm.
250, not 225. It changes. But when you're chasing 325, which was a lot of runs back in the day in 2002, so they had a target in mind. So they went out with a mindset like that. Now, Saurav and Sehwag had a brilliant start. We got there. Even if they were 60 for 2 in 7 overs, they've lost 2 wickets, but they're on the
Hmm.
right track. They're not playing catch up. But here you're losing wickets and you've not got the runs. So anybody who comes later, Rahul Tripathi felt it, Adil Makram felt it, Nikhil Pooran felt it.
True.
So a game that was 8 runs and over, 9 runs and over, you can't take that to 12, 13. You keep that at
Exactly.
8, 9 because 8, 9 and over is a lot of runs. So you either keep it at 8, 9 or you come back, somebody else will give it. Maybe it's his day. But you
Yeah.
cannot have an 8-9 game, take it to 12 and say, oh, it wasn't, I couldn't do it, please, all yours. That's so fair.
Yeah. True. And there was just no partnership that was being built at any point
Yeah.
by
Because,
SRH.
because it went to 12.
Yeah.
How will the partnership come?
True.
You've given something on a plate which is beyond you.
True.
But if it was 8-9 and the two openers were after 3 overs 30 for 1, after 6 overs 60 for 2, you're on track. You lost 2 wickets.
Hmm.
But the guy who's
Hmm.
coming in is chasing 9 runs over, not 13. So you're fair
Yeah.
to him. You can't let the game, as it is, it's a big one with the target. You can't get that even bigger. You can do that,
Exactly.
it's a 120 game, you can make that a 140. What
True.
Tilak Verma did the other day, he waited patiently because it was a small target. But
Hmm.
when it's a big target, you cannot let that get bigger because as it is, it's big.
And the target also became big as we were discussing. The bowlers conceded a lot of runs. Had they restricted the total to somewhere around a 150, possibly story alag hoti. We saw, I mean, Umran Malik today was better, was below an economy of 9, took 3 wickets as well. But the other bowlers weren't able to really do the job.
The
Natrajan, we
player, the
cannot.
wicket suited him also. The wicket was quicker, with a bit of grass, skiddy. This is the sort of wicket Umran Malik has done well in the past as well. We were talking
Yes.
about in the pre-show because we read
Yes.
the pitch report and we saw there was some juice in it,
Correct.
some carry in it. The word is carry actually. He needs the ball to
Yes.
really thud into the keeper's gloves, not the
Hmm.
one that hits the ground and slows down because of lack of grass. This skidded
Hmm.
through. So this is the sort of wicket that he would enjoy playing on. We saw this coming.
True, true. We saw this coming, but we didn't see it coming from. Of course, Natarajan has been good overall, but he's right now injured, so we cannot entirely blame him. He was a little expensive, and then of course Washington Sundar in that last over being extremely expensive. Damini, any more thoughts on Hyderabad's bowling?
Hyderabad, I would say, never were in the game after restricting KKR to 94 for 5. They completely looked that yes, we finally have KKR into our grasp. Now we can just restrict them to a paltry, probably a 130 or a 140.
Hmm.
I would say, they committed the mistake of not taking Andre Russell and Sam Billings seriously, which allowed Andre Russell and Billings to stitch that useful partnership. And of course,
Correct.
Andre Russell will always ensure that if he comes to bat and it's the final over, he will hit you, he will tonk you. And Sundar, time and again, he was seeing that Andre Russell is on strike and he is ready to hit those big shots. He was delivering to Russell on the slots. Russell will, of course, beat you. He will. He has time and again done it, and he will continue to do it. SRH at no point of time today, till 94 for 5 in KKR's batting, they were never in the game after that. I would completely say it. It was always KKR. And I'm not saying this because KKR won or I am a KKR fan. Keeping that point aside, I would say after 94 for 5, suddenly KKR perhaps understood that it's high time that they have to get the match under their control. Russell and Billings, they first took the batting. They did a good job, brilliant job, I would say. And then the KKR bowlers took it upon themselves that we have to win it. SRH was
See,
never in the game after that 94 for 5.
see, just
That's why.
on this, I feel for Washi because he was given a task which is very difficult. He asked
Yeah.
an off spinner to bowl to a rampaging Andrew Russell in the 20th over of a T20 game. It wasn't easy for him. At
Yeah.
least he showed guts and put his hand up and said, "I'll give it a shot." I know a lot of
It's
bowlers
just
who were
like that
sitting in.
Shivam Mavi over, na? Shivam Mavi against Lucknow Super Giants. He was giving away all those runs. Marcus Stoinis stomped him for two sixes. Then he got dismissed. Then Jason Holder, he gave away those 30 runs. Just like that, probably you would say
Yeah, but Shivam
that
Mavi is not as
youngsters get
regular.
10.
Shivam Mavi is not as regular a bowler as Washington Sundar is. Washington Sundar opens the bowling for India in T20 games. He's a really good
Yes.
bowler. But what he was given today, any spinner in the world, out of 100 times, 98 times would get hit like him. All I'm trying
Yeah.
to say here is that I feel for him because that's not his role in the team. There is the
True.
faster bowlers. When have you seen Rashid Khan bowl at 20th over? When have you seen Yajavendra Chahal bowl at 20th over? Never.
Correct.
Never. So he
And
was given something. He was given something which is very difficult, and he showed guts, put his hand up, and went and did it. Yes, 20 runs could have been worse, could have been better. You can talk about it all day, but at least he showed guts and went and carried out. Yes,
Hmm.
Andre Russell, it's not easy bowling to him. That is the time when the faster bowlers come and bowl Yorkers and slower balls, but it wasn't easy for him. And we can't blame the guy because when you ask him to bowl the last over of a T20 game to Andre Russell, you're asking for trouble.
True. Yes, Devashish, you were saying
yeah,
something?
I would just like to add when you have two bowlers who has that ability to bowl at the death overs, especially the
Hmm.
last over,
Hmm.
someone like a
Hmm.
Bhuvneshwar Kumar and a Natarajan. Natarajan has been so often we saw in the previous editions of IPL that he coming in and bowling those last over, final over, bowling those Yorkers, toe crushing Yorkers, and getting rid of the wickets. So it at least either Ruby or Natarajan could have bowled that final over, and Washington Sundar has done well until his three overs. He has only given away only 18 runs. So then finally, it was asking too much of him because to bowl against a rampaging Andrew Russell because he was just tonking the ball. He was just keeping his foot forward and tonking the ball. So it was all slog sweep. So you could feel for Washington Sundar.
True. True. Right. Well, as much as we dissect the game, it's done, and Hyderabad has lost this very, very important match for themselves. But it is what it is. Let's move on. Tomorrow is a new day, and it's a double header Sunday. Before I close, let me quickly tell you and ask you your picks. The first game is CSK versus a team that's playing for pride versus a team that is on top of the table right now, Gujarat Titans. Damini, what do you expect to see?
When it's Dhoni playing, I don't see who the opposition is. It's always Dhoni. So CSK, of course.
We have another Rima in the room.
It's always Dhoni. Whether he's playing for Pride or he's the champion team, Dhoni is Dhoni for me.
Jaida,
I'm going with Gujarat. I think they're playing really well. I think they're a
really well.
well-rounded side. Yeah, I'm going with Gujarat, just in form.
Debashish,
Gujarat, first team to
definitely.
qualify, the balance of the side, that everyone is contributing, and what's good about Gujarat is that, see, you have contributions from everyone. The matches they have won, there are so many man of the match contributors in that side. So it's not about one individual or two individual who has done well. It's about a
And
team.
also in Colin, I have a Gujarat t-shirt.
Okay, the second one might be a difficult one for you all to pick. Let's start with you, Joyda. It's Lucknow versus Rajasthan.
I'm going with Lucknow. I think they have more firepower. I think Rajasthan's batting is a little dodgy, too dependent on Josh Butler. Their
Yes, but
bowling is bailing them out. But I just feel strength to strength. I feel Lucknow is a more balanced side. They're not heavily dependent on any one or two players in batting and bowling. And I always go with teams which are evenly balanced because anybody can have an off day.
absolutely. Devashish?
Yeah, I would also go with Lucknow, and especially um, the loss in the last match has severely hurt. If you follow that Instagram handle, the post of Lucknow Super Giants, Gautam Gambhir, the speech that he delivered to the entire team means. So I think I won't be surprised if the players they take it up on them and they show some character in the match against Rajasthan Royals, because they, and when you have someone like a Gautam Gambhir, and he was very animated in after the loss last match, and also KL Rahul. So I won't be surprised if Lucknow bounce back strongly against Rajasthan Royals.
Well, let's see. Damini, your pick?
I'll also go with Lucknow because Lucknow have throughout the season played very well. They look a much stronger side, and I feel at this point of time, Rajasthan are taking things a bit lightly. They're not showing the content they are supposed to show. Somewhere they have lost their momentum. I would bank on Lucknow Super Giants for
Okay, so
tomorrow.
then I guess that makes it four votes. My vote is also for Lucknow. We'll see what happens tomorrow. For now, it's time to call it a night. Thank you, everyone. I will see you tomorrow.
Thank
Take
Thank
you.
care.
Good
you. Good
night.
night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.